Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here, grateful recovering alcoholic and addict, just like every guys. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe, leave the video a like, drop me a comment, and by all means, share it with somebody who might get something out of it. Other than that, another beautiful day, guys. Hot and steamy here in Boston, but summertime is to be expected, right? Guys, we're gonna go to the daily reflection from a couple of days ago because I liked it, but this one is a design for living. We, in our turn, sought the same escape with all the desperation of a drowning man. What seemed at first a flimsy reed has proved to be the loving and powerful hand of God. A new life has been given us, or if you prefer, a design for living that really works. I try each day to raise my heart and my hands in thanks to God for showing me a design for living that really works. Through faith and fellowship, through faith and fellowship, sorry. But what exactly is this design for living? Well, for me, it is applying the spiritual principles to the best of my ability and the continued awareness of a God who loves me unconditionally, and the hope that in each new day there is purpose for my being. I am truly blessed in my recovery. Simple as that, guys. And you know what? I read that one the other day, and I'm like, that's basically how I feel, right? I can't ever say enough that praying that one night changed everything for me, guys. And it can do the same for you. It's about getting out of your own way and understanding. And I don't say this to call anybody out, but understand that we, even over and above the active addiction and alcoholism, we determine our realities by what we choose to give our focus to. And I know that's not always an easy thing to say. It's very easy when you're on the right side of it, but when you're on the wrong side of it, it's very hard to grasp that and try to understand, well, this is happening, how can I not focus on that? Well, understand, it's not going to change overnight. The best thing you can do is just start to make changes to yourself that start to allow better situations into your life. And raising your head and your heart in thanks to God for the blessings you have is the best and most powerful way to stop that momentum and start to see things and start to feel things that are better in your life. No matter how bad our situation is, guys, we have things to be thankful for. If you're breathing, if you woke up today, if you're, you have the ability to get up and move around, or, whatever, if you're breathing, if you're alive, we have reasons to be thankful. If you're here watching my video, you're at least fighting to make your life better if you're watching my videos any kind of regularly, because it's literally all we talk about on this channel every single day. So you have many reasons to be thankful. Be thankful for the desire to want better, right? Be thankful for the willingness to make changes in your life. And start making those changes, but just arrest the momentum, guys. Let go of anything that doesn't serve you. And I know that's something I had to hear about 10,000 times, knowing full well, every time I heard that. And it's funny, guys, I heard that over and over and over and over and over again, because that was what I needed to hear. Because every time I heard that, I immediately went right to, well, geez, heroin doesn't serve me, but it's, I'm addicted to it. So I had to do the work, and I tried doing it on my own, and I couldn't. So I had to go to rehab, and that was fine. That was the best thing that could happen, guys. And in those early days, it's funny, I love to reflect now, because in those early days, I was positive, like, oh, I got, I'm needed here this whole life, blah, 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 blah. I felt like I couldn't walk away from everything that I had, which was nothing. I had nothing but misery and people taking advantage of me. So I was finally willing, after trying to detox here at home by myself, and I couldn't do it. I damn near, guys, and I don't say that lightly. I hadn't had so much as a drink of water in 2.5 days. I had a film that thick on the inside of my mouth, I couldn't even talk. The reason I ended up at the hospital is because my landlord, my friend Doug, called because people were reporting my truck having not moved in days. And he's like, what's going on with you? And I'm trying to talk to him. And I'm like I couldn't even speak. This film in my mouth, it sounded, it was gross. Every time I tried to get it up, I started throwing up and puking all over. I was a mess. When the fire department first showed up at my house and asked me to go with them, a friend of mine, the lieutenant, was a friend of mine, and I was too embarrassed about the state that I was in. I sent him away and tried to get in the shower. But before I could, the police showed up, and then they saw all the paraphernalia and baggies and drugs and, pipes and all the nonsense. And they're like, listen, we just want you to go help. We're not here to jam you up. Clearly you need some help looking at you. You're not doing well. Do you agree? And I'm like, yeah, of course I agree. I definitely need help. And I didn't want to get into it. Finally, I'm like, you know what? Give me a couple minutes in the bathroom. So I cleaned myself up a little bit, and yes, I'll come with you. And they were cool. They called an ambulance, and off I went. And again, as soon as they're about to change me out, dope man called, and I had some money, and I literally ran out of the hospital in a pouring rainstorm, and it was just, I'm so grateful I don't have to deal with those things anymore, guys. But over and above that, my life is shockingly different today. Shockingly different today. I am shockingly different today. I had so much animosity and self-hatred for the person that I was those days, guys. I literally couldn't stop and look, and that's why I was constantly going. Because the minute I stopped and thought about what was going on in my life, I would just lose it. Like I couldn't handle it. I couldn't face the realities of but through my thick skull and my extreme strength, even as weak as I was then, I was bullheaded enough to just keep going and going. And even then, it was barely holding on, guys. And it got to the point where I was not sleeping at all. Literally, I'm not kidding, guys. Not a word of exaggeration. I wouldn't sleep for 14 or 15 days. And every night, I'd swear up and down, I'm going to go home and get some sleep. And I'd, start smoking crack and playing online. And next thing you know, it'd be 4 or 5 in the morning. And oh, crap, I got to finish this so I can do some heroin to come down, go back to work. And guys, I'd be driving down the road, and I'd pull up to red lights, or you're not even at red lights. I would literally just pass out at the wheel. It was a wonder I didn't kill anybody. Thank my higher power, I used to call God, that I didn't, because I couldn't live with myself. Had I done that, I was too miserable. It was, and if I took somebody else's life away from me at that point, I don't think I could have come back from that. But I started to want better. I wanted better even before I started praying. I was asking for help in all the wrong places. I was just talking about it and not taking any action. Faith without works is dead, guys. You've got to take action. We can know what we need to do forever and not do it. But it's when you start taking action on those things that changes begin to form in your life. And for me, it was relatively quick. It was a month or two of talking about it and then starting to pray. And once I started to pray, dude, it was just everything. Everywhere I looked, I was hearing things. I'd turn on the TV, I'd turn on videos, and all I heard was, drug rehab centers and shed that diet which doesn't serve you. There's a better life, and it was just boom, boom, these downloads over and over and over. And it got to the point where I'm like, I started to understand that these were direct messages for me, that's what I needed to see. And that's when I started to get emotional, because I started to feel seen and realized I wasn't hiding my bullshit anymore, guys. And I'm not afraid, ashamed to admit today, I'd come home and just start crying every night for no particular reason other than I wanted better. I knew I deserved better. I knew I was capable of better. And I knew I was nowhere near even scratching the surface of the potential of what I could be doing in life. And I'm probably just scratching the surface now. But I'm living up to my potential, and I'm stepping up every day. Guys, I'm getting better and better opportunities every day because I remain sober. I'm putting more and more clean time together. And then and here's the thing, guys. I didn't just shed the drugs. When I got into rehab, I planned to go for 3 to 5 days. I got in there, and I couldn't even, and God knew that. And God gave me a hard detox to make me understand that I needed help. So I laid in bed for like 10 days, right? Like literally getting up to use the bathroom, getting up to eat, right back to bed. I'd try to stay up and drink a coffee or something and right back to bed. I was miserable. I was terrible. So then I started waking up, and I'm like, all right, gotta exercise. Can't stay like this. Can't stay like this. I was scared. I was scared to death that my body was done. I thought I was going to be one of these little, decrepit old men at 50 years old. I just couldn't move. Guys, today, I told you, yesterday I put 300 pounds on the bench press after working out for an hour. Threw that up like no problem. I was at an intersection. I told you about the broken down car I stopped and helped yesterday. I love the things I do today, guys. I was at an intersection in Roxbury on Saturday, and there was a guy out there begging for change, and he had this little, sign. They get the little cardboard signs or whatever. And the guy was hunched over, and just, life had ravaged him, much the way life had ravaged me 6-8 months ago, right? But it was funny, because he come up, and I'm like, man, you okay? I gave him a couple of dollars, and I'm like, please go eat something, dude. You look like you look like you really use a sandwich. The guy goes, oh, I know, I'm looking rough, but you don't understand. I'm 54 years old. And I look at him, I go, dude, I'm 52. And the guy, and I didn't mean to say it to hurt his feelings, but the guy was shocked. Like, and that's the thing. Like, that's how I looked 6-8 months ago. Guys, I'm aging in reverse, and it's funny, because that was something I heard one day on a video. And, if you keep doing the spiritual work, you're going to start to age in reverse. Because one of the things that really, really bothered me was the fact that I couldn't look in the mirror 6, 8 months ago, back in November when I was before I went into rehab. I was horrified. My eyes are so sunken in. I was a shell. I was a shell of the man that I am today. And somebody would ask me to send them a picture, and I couldn't get myself to do it. Because I'd snap a picture in the mirror, and I'd look at it and go, oh my God, what have I done to myself? And because I put my attention went on trying to do better, guys, I didn't think I would. And again, I'm not some GQ model. Nobody's banging down my door. I'm single, and nobody's asked me out in months. But I know that, and that's because I know God's waiting for me to meet the right person. In the meantime, I'm still working on myself. I ignored myself for so long that I know I need this time to focus on myself, and I love the fact that I'm able to do that. I actually had a conversation with my ex-wife, and she was, very happy with where I'm at today, and I think she kind of wants to come back. And I very politely and very kindly let her know that I can't do that today. I said no, and it's nothing personal. It's not that I don't still love you. It's that I've never given myself the time to reach my potential, to focus on just myself, because I'm such a giving person that when a second person enters the equation, their needs go before mine. And I love that about myself, but I need to establish the baseline of what I need for myself, and I understand that today. This time I'm being given right now is the biggest gift I've ever received in my life, because I'm able to sit with self and enjoy the thoughts that run through my head, and then I'm able to get introspective and think about the actions that I take, the opportunities that are in front of me. Instead of just reacting to what I have to do at the moment, I stop and I think about what's going on, and I look at the totality of the situations in my life, and I decide where to stop putting my energy from there. And that is the difference, guys. That is why things are expanding at an unbelievable rate. I made a friend of mine this morning who's a union plumber that I occasionally work with from the last business, and he's got a new car after he totaled his last car, and I met him at the garage to take a peek at his new car, and I haven't seen him in probably 2.5, 3 months. And as a matter of fact, he was one of the first person I saw when I left rehab. I helped him fix his car the next morning. And so he knows, and he's one of my good friends. He loves the work that I'm doing on myself. He's been he's been a great cheerleader, right? And I see him this morning, and it's only been a couple of months that I've seen him. He goes, Jesus Christ! I love the comments I get from people. Like, you're really packing the muscle on, guys. I continue to get better because I continue every time I get comfortable with my new routine. I look for ways to improve it. And because I'm doing this, God is putting, literally, as soon as I'm ready, as soon as I focus on something, there'll be an ad pop up on my YouTube channel or a video that I'm watching that is an idea of what I was just thinking about. That's being in alignment. Every time I so much as think of something, that opportunity shows up in my life. Or I'll take action. And of course, I'll take action on it showing up, or I'll do research if it's that important. If it hasn't popped up yet. But more often than not, it just falls into my field of view because I'm doing the work and I'm focused on what it is that I want in a positive, loving manner, not from the aspect of not having it. And that's that whole law of attraction thing, guys. You got it. That's why I say, raise your head and heart and thanks, because when you are grateful for what you have and then you think about what you want, it brings it into your field. But when you sit there and stomp your feet in aggravation of not having what you want, you're focusing on the lack thereof and the idea of not having something, and that's what you're going to receive more of. That's what I mean by energy flows where your attention goes. You want to focus on, you want more money, then you start acting better and more responsible and more appreciative of the money you have, and then taking positive actions in your life, and you'll get more money. That's the first thing I mastered. Guys, I started this little run when I come out of rehab. I was looking at eviction. I was $12,000 in debt. And today, I'm far from that. I don't want to throw figures out there, but let's just say I've got enough money to put down a 10% deposit on a $1 million house, cash in my bank account right now. That's pretty fucking good. Not bad for 7 months and having been tens of thousands in debt and starting a new business and having to build that. And it's just getting better and better because I continue as I go to pay attention. And that's something I never did before. I would go out and just be a man of habit and just do things one at a time, focus on one thing at a time, because that's all I could ever do. My brain was that addled. Now I'm able to manage multiple things at once, and something I was talking about the other day, and it shocked me when we were talking about take it easy. I'm like, I feel like I'm taking it easy, but then I look at the totality of it, and I'm doing 87 things more than I ever capable of doing before, yet I have ease in doing so. And that's because of the hard work I'm doing is paying off, and my brain is expanding, clarity is getting better and better, and I'm eating better, I'm eating cleaner, I'm sleeping more, I'm feeding my brain. I no more leisure TV and just negativity. Everything I do is about expansion and about learning, and taking courses at Harvard, and learning how to manage my time better, learning how to be a better leader. And all of a sudden I find myself capable of managing my business, his business, my YouTube channel, my TikTok channel, speaking commitments, helping so many different people that reach out to me, and then stopping and fixing broken down cars and going to the gym, and anything I want. It's amazing to me that I'm not burnt out, and I'm comfortable, and I'm happy, and I'm not overworked. Yet I'm doing 1,000 things more, and it's bringing so many beautiful experiences into my life. It's bringing me opportunities to make money at a rate that I've never made before. It's amazing to me. And because I'm being responsible with that, it's giving me more opportunity to make more. I'm taking, instead of blowing in, and I haven't bought myself anything fancy. I bought a used pickup truck that I use for work, and I'm making payments on that, $1,000 a month, so it's paid off. And just being responsible and saving all my money. And then all of a sudden something came up that I hadn't thought of in years that is incredibly important for me going forward and expanding into the next chapter of my life. And it's going to cost most of what I have saved, and I'm doing it. And once I get it done, I'll talk about it at length. But guys, it's just because I'm doing the right things, I'm making good decisions, I'm being a good steward of the resources that I have, and I'm using them where they need to go, and gratefully, not begrudgingly, because anything you do begrudgingly says, I don't like spending money, don't give me more. No, everything I do today, I'm grateful that I have the resources to do the things that I'm doing, and I give it away, cheerfully, knowing that it's going to come back to me in spades. It's exactly what I found. I've learned to expect the best, and that's what I'm receiving more often than not. Nothing's perfect. There's no hard fast. There's always a setback and stumbling block. But they always come with a lesson attached, something I need to learn and apply to my life to take me to the next level. And because I continue to do so, I continue to expand, and I continue to get better and age backwards and get stronger and get more financially stable, and and just appreciate more abundance in my life. Everybody can do these things, guys. It's about being intentional, being faithful, being the best you possibly can. Be the best version of you that's ever walked the planet, and then every time you get an opportunity, step up and become better. And that's exactly what I'm doing, and everything's getting better and better. Guys, always remember, God loves you, I love you. Thank you so much for being here. I'm incredibly grateful. We'll see you in the next one.